Hey y'all, quick note. While My Hero Academia was created for kids, this podcast is not safe for work or children. All trigger warnings and spoilers for each episode can be found at our website, myheroanalysis.com. Thanks for listening.
Hey y'all, this is My Hero Analysis, a podcast about My Hero Academia, aka Boku no Hero Academia. We are three grown adults who mine Japanese children's cartoons for serotonin because God knows our brains aren't making it naturally.
Hello everyone, I am Fern. This has been an interesting week. We've all got helium brain and no Sheraton, so...
Nope.
None whatsoever.
Nope, no Sheraton ever. And we will not be explaining the context because it's funnier for us that way.
Yep.
I'm Nicole. As of when I took the notes, which was like on Easter Sunday, because I am a blasphemer. It's fine. I had basically done like too many errands and appointments, and I needed a refund, and I demanded them from Werewolf Jesus, and he did not give me tithes. So how dare?
How dare?
How much dare?
Very dare. Also, we are like recording this a couple days before chapter 351 drops, and then there's like a strange 2-week break, and I am just nervous and not happy about it.
Very nervous.
So I'm also a blasphemer, but probably worse than Nicole at this point.
Hell yeah. All the blasphemy.
Because I was at a certain convention this weekend. So I have been traveling for 3 weeks straight. And when I was doing these notes, I got off the plane after a 14-hour travel time from Washington, had an overnight layover. And so these notes are very unhinged, as am I, because I also got sick this morning.
Honey.
Aww.
So yay! No, it's fine.
It's
Maybe.
not
So
fine.
you are Maria.
Yeah.
It's fine.
Yes. Oh goodness. Also, listeners, brace yourselves for kind of a long episode. This was a really, really dense one, and we have a lot to talk about. So let's go ahead and just dive right into it. So this week we're covering episode 11 of season 2. The title is Fight On, Ida, which in the manga is chapters 40 through 42, just little bits taken here and there and then thrown into an episode. So I will lead us through a brief synopsis and then hand it off to Nicole for discussion topics, manga differences, and Easter eggs. So we open, as usual, with a recap. This is the Izuku and Shoto fight, which Shoto wins after some therapy TM, and then we get the opening credits.
Yeah, and I've decided that Izuku's 9th, 10th, 30th, whatever quirk is just therapy fighting.
That therapy session killed me.
Well, this one's also going to kill you.
It's fine.
In a different manner.
Your stomach didn't finish you off, so now we're going to.
Oh no.
So we get some shots of the crowd, and they're all a little stunned by Izuku's recklessness. So there's a lot of gossiping and oh my God, did you see that kind of moments going on?
Yeah, and like apparently no one in this universe does any amount of introspection. Also, for some reason, my subtitles were on while I was watching the English dub. I don't know why, and I was too tired to try to do anything about it. And there is like a moment where the subtitle is literally just Katsuki growls, and I have never felt more seen.
Yeah, to be fair, no one in this universe does any introspection either.
Listen, how dare you? I am trying. It's hard.
You are trying. We are the glorious golden exceptions, and everyone else needs to get on our level.
Yeah, everyone is confusion at his motives, but then again, I'm also perpetually confused by everything, but that's beside the point. Anywho, whenever doesn't Katsuki not growl?
But it was just like soap. It was like the single subtitle was Katsuki growls. And I'm just like, yes.
Yep, that's him. So the crowd is gossiping, and meanwhile, Shoto heads back inside, pretty much immediately runs into his dad, who gives some decent advice at first, and then just right on the tail end of that, just ruins it by being a controlling, abusive, egotistical dickbag once again. But Shoto is quick to assure him that using his fire powers does not mean that he's conforming himself to his father's wishes.
Hell yeah. Shoto said, fuck you and fuck your life in the calmest way possible. And that is almost always the best way to tell somebody to fuck off.
First of all, I totally flipped him off as soon as I saw his absolutely atrocious face. Second of all, and I cannot stress this enough, I absolutely fucking hate this bitch. Every time he comes out with his god-awful, vomit-inducing mouth, I want to claw my ears, screech like a bird of prey, or listen to fingernails on chalkboard. I was feeling a lot of feelings.
Yeah.
Yeah, you are.
Sound way more pleasant than listening to his ramblings.
Agreed.
And
yes.
Third of all, yes, that is my son. Tell that asshat to fuck off. Nobody wants to hear any of his egotistical nonsense know-how. He can shove it up to his urethra in the most painful way possible.
Oh, beautiful.
A lot of feelings.
Beautiful. That was perfect.
And all of your feelings were spot on.
So valid. Like, so valid. So then we cut to Recovery Girl's office. Izuku, once again, totally fucked up his bod. And this time there are permanent consequences, just like she warned. And she lectures Toshi again about pushing Izuku too far and enabling him.
Okay. And it was like at this moment where I just screeched at Google Docs, because even though this is like the 9th time I've watched this anime, this note was the first time I realized that Toshi is enabling Izuku. So just
Yep, I screeched too, as per I couldn't even finish.
Nope.
Writing enabling.
She just started spelling enabling and then just went right into on the keyboard.
That pronunciation was perfect.
Thank you.
And yes, Toshi is absolutely enabling all of Izuku's worst impulses. Oh, I heard the bark. Who's barking?
Oh no. Oh dear. I closed the blinds so you wouldn't see the neighbors. What? Sir.
Thor just really, really wanted to be a part of things.
I guess so. Little shit.
So some of the other kids are able to visit Izuku because the stage is being rebuilt because Izuku and Shoto destroyed it. He who shall be ignored makes a plot specific point, forcing me to acknowledge his existence. I hate it. But he commented that heroes aren't going to want to take him on as a sidekick or an intern because of his recklessness. But the other kids are just straight up concerned for him because they're good friends. Mineta, have you heard of it?
Yeah, no, he hasn't, because we know the only reason Great Bitch is there is because he has a crush on Izuku, but also get the fuck out. Nobody wants you there. And then I was happy to just return Great Bitch to the ignore pile, because Ochako, like, not even recognizing Toshi. Like, I knew it was going to happen, but for some reason I just cackled so hard.
I love whenever that happens.
Me too. Well, although I fucking hate Trash Netta, and especially because he made such a valid point. And so for this specific purpose, he will get one good regular almond. This one.
One whole almond.
I hope this one nice action turns into something bad, because he also finds out he's allergic to almonds as he eats the good almond. So
but to be fair, no one's gonna recognize a sickly man as the number one hero. Who would think the epitome of heroism would be the slightly feeble, unhealthy, skinny, pasty man as All Might? I would maybe feel like they might be family, maybe.
A, excellent point. B, also excellent point. who do they think Toshi is? Do they think he's just like, I don't know, one of Recovery Girl's assistants or something? Or like one of her patients, maybe? I don't know.
Yeah, it's Izuku's weird skeletal uncle, sir.
They probably didn't even think about it. They were just like, oh, hello, back to my best friend who's once again like smashed himself to bits.
Who once again doesn't have an arm. Fine.
Oh God. But basically what happens is that both Izuku and Toshi finally have a come to Jesus moment where they realize that they've got to change. And also there's more commentary on the true nature of heroism, blah, blah, blah. So, you know, Izuku lost the match, but helping Shoto was far more important.
The true nature of heroism, blah, 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 blah. But also, Izuku really is a true hero since his first instinct, like, is to actually help others, even when he consciously knows that he is supposed to be doing the pageantry of the ridiculous industry he wants to get into. And poor thing, he just really needs that good affirmation.
He does.
Yes, he does. But again, this show is all about being a true hero versus being a hero for show.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, metaphors are painful and I don't like them, but also I do. So.
And they're just gonna keep coming because that is the, what is it, thesis statement of this entire show.
Yeah.
So then we cut to the next fight, which is Ida versus Ibara, and Ida wins very quickly. And then next is Tokoyami versus Mina, which Tokoyami wins also very quickly.
Yeah.
And then cut to Recovery Girl's office again. Izuku is out of surgery and he's well enough to walk around, but Recovery Girl intentionally leaves the scarring on his hands and arms as a warning / reminder to get it the fuck together. Also, she refuses to heal him in the future. And oh God, poor baby Izuku. He's so depressed about losing the tournament, and he's so certain that he'll never be able to use his powers effectively that basically he tries to get Toshi to choose another successor.
Yeah. And like before that happened, I had to pause it and like force my memory to actually do work in my brain because it was not working when I took these notes. But yeah, she definitely did actually heal him in Heroes Rising. So, ma'am.
Well, that was a special case.
Yeah,
He couldn't help that one.
but you could definitely tell how unhinged I was at this point. You could say she gave him an ultimatum. Side note, I really like trash TV, and the Netflix shows is incredible. 10 out of 10 recommend.
Good to know. And yes, she absolutely gave him an ultimatum, and it just completely blindsided him somehow. So Izuku's trying to get Toshi to pick another successor, but Toshi finally reveals that he was quirkless too before he got One for All. So he understands what One for All means to Izuku, and he knows he'll value it appropriately. We also get a new character reveal. Wait for the discussion topics. We will address it. But also, Toshi first saw Izuku as like his mini-me, but he's since realized that Izuku is more capable than him in a lot of ways. So yeah, he's definitely not picking another successor.
Yep. And you know that Izuku is loving this lore drop that makes him like just like his idol. You know his little hyperfixation brain is just like
absolutely
Exactly like that.
Yep. And I also have completely irrelevant wonderings, and I cannot wait for a discussion time.
Yes, it's going to be good.
Yeah,
We've
my
got a lot
only
to
note
discuss.
was Toshi coming in hot with the words of affirmation.
Yes.
Also, if that is your love language, get someone who has words of affirmation. And if it isn't, words of affirmation are still very nice.
Yes.
That is the end of my TED Talk.
Yes. Listen to yourself as you're falling in love from Toshi.
So then we cut to Tenya, and I'm switching to his first name again because there's 2 Idas in this. So Tenya's in the waiting room before his next fight when he calls his brother, who unfortunately doesn't answer because he's on a mission. And then we cut immediately to Tensei as he's on said mission. So he's hunting down the quote unquote hero killer, and we get our second glimpse of Stain.
And I still ship Stain and Toshi months later from when the ship ship began. And I am not sorry. It is a very good crack ship.
You're right. And you should say it.
I did. Did you hear it?
So cut to the Kiribaku fight, and Katsuki is like actually struggling the tiniest bit because Kirishima is like somewhat impervious to his blasts because of his hardening. Also, Tetsu is cheering on Kirishima from the stands, which is adorable. And Ida and Tenya are kind of watching the match, but they're mostly talking about how much Tenya admires Tensei and wants to impress him.
Yeah. You said Ida and Tenya. It's Izuku and Tenya.
Izuku and Tenya are kind of watching the match.
Yeah, there's too many Idas. It's fine. And the foreshadowing is very heavy.
Mm.
Yeah, it's basically the anime rendition of One Dark and Stormy Day.
Mm-hmm. So Katsuki wins the fight because his quirk outlasts Kirishima's #strategy.
Endurance. But also, yes, it is a good strategy that plays to Bakugo's natural strength.
Yeah, we back with the endurance.
Okay, I'm still not sure what either of you mean, but all right.
The whole thing that had you galaxy brain last time when we compared Horikoshi to Yuri on Ice and Yuri's endurance.
Endurance, yes.
Oh, okay. I got you now. And yes, you're both correct.
Yes, we know.
At first, I thought y'all were like trying to make some kind of sex rep joke, and I was like,
no, they're children.
For once, we were.
Maria entered like this little side eye comment, and I was like, I don't know what that means.
Yeah, she was side eyeing when you literally had an aneurysm last time.
I don't remember. Whenever we record, everything that we mention falls out of my head like immediately. Just slate wiped clean.
Yeah. It's true.
But anyway, so the final 4 contestants are Tenya, Shoto, Tokoyami, and Katsuki. And the next match is Tenya versus Shoto, and we see Tenya use his quirk in a lot more creative ways than we've seen thus far. So he's using it to put more power behind his jumps and his kicks. But Shoto remembers that close range attacks exist, and he wins. And poor Tenya, he's just devastated because he really wanted to win and impress his brother.
Yeah. This is also like one of many moments that Shoto just gets dragged around. Like it's a whole thing. And the TikToks about it are hilarious.
Oh, I love them. The Shoto drag arounds are my favorite thing. And my son just lets them happen.
Yep. He's just like, okay, I'm being dragged now. It's fine. It's good.
He definitely has old dog being played with by babies energy. Like he's just sitting there and the kids are tugging at his ears and tugging at his tail. And he's just letting it happen.
Yeah.
Kind of like Spartan.
Oh, yeah. Spartan.
So cut back to the alley where Tensei cornered Stain, and Tensei is now lying in a giant pool of blood, and Stain is going off on one of his rambles. Homie is not well. We will definitely see more of that. And we see Tensei's phone light up from Tenya's call. Just, my heart. Also, Stain is obsessed with All Might.
Mm-hmm, 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 mm-hmm. And this is where I started.
This is where Maria just went off the deep end. And I love it.
So I know Tensei's sitting in a pool of his own blood, but I gotta say, there's just something so attractive about a character in darkness with a sword dripping with blood. Is that just me? Anywho, continue.
It is.
I don't know. I want to linger on this for a minute.
Like overall, you're right, and you should say it, but also it's Stain who doesn't have a nose and like relishes that disfigurement, and also he's got a really creepy ass tongue. So in this case, it is just you. It is.
But you know, there's nothing wrong with finding Stain somewhat attractive. Like, your kinks are your own.
Yes, they are, and he does respect women. So I mean, you could have picked worse.
Well, sort of. I'm sure he's killed female heroes for being corrupted or whatever. But
yeah, but he doesn't kill them for being women and or female.
That's true. That's true. And that automatically makes him better than like how many cis dudes?
So many cis dudes.
Oh God. But yeah, Maria's attracted to Stain. You heard it here first.
We
Just a
support
little
you.
bit.
We support you. We just don't understand, but we still support you.
Mhm.
That is what we do.
Mhm. So the next fight is Katsuki versus Tokoyami, which Katsuki wins because Dark Shadow's weakness is light. So it's like just a really terrible matchup.
Mhm.
But the crowd is so wowed by both of their talents that they almost don't even care who wins. So Tokoyami still comes off looking pretty good, even though he lost.
Oh my God, I just remembered what this leads to later. God, I am very stupid. Yeah, he does come off looking pretty good, and it like goes way off into the future. Wow.
Mhm.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to need to add that to the Easter egg section. Anyway, poor, sweet, sad Dark Shadow. Like he did not want to fight. Like Day Dark Shadow is so sweet. But also, more importantly and more weirdly, like the shot of Bakugo running, like just why? Like there were so many other angles than just kind of looking around my son's posterior. Like why was this the choice that was made? But also moving away from that, because I do not want to linger on that nonsense. Bakugo is still like rubbing his arm, so he's actually overextending himself. Like he's working hard.
Yeah, my poor emo son and his pet burb.
No,
The single tear on Dark Shadow kills me every time. Also, Bakugo's feral face and Shoto's look of contempt.
Yep. Classic them. So Tenya returns to the class in the stands, but he gets a sudden phone call from his mom, and he learns that a villain, quote unquote, got Tensei. And then we cut to Stain, who's monologuing about how corrupt hero society has become. He's not wrong, but can you wrap it up, dude? Like, keep making the same points over and over.
But also back to Tenya, sir, why the vibrations, sir? Why, sir?
Oh yeah, when his
Full
phone goes
body
off and his whole body just vibrates. Oh my God, that's such a silly little, I don't even know how to account for that. It's just a cute little detail where I bet Horikoshi was like, this would be funny.
Yeah,
and he was right.
And that's it. And he was on point as usual.
So the episode ends with Stain whipping out his sword and sticking it through a swirl of black and purple, which is Kurogiri. And Kurogiri reveals that he's been, quote unquote, looking for Stain and wants to speak with him. And then we get a quick cut to Shiggy staring at a computer with Stain on the screen. So clearly the League of Villains is interested in him.
Yep. And this is where I mentioned, like, Stain is not wrong. Like,
No.
he is correct, and some fans need to realize that.
Yeah.
There are some excellent
Stain's
points in those rambles.
Yep.
Are kind of valid. So
Mhm.
also
Mm.
swords again. God, I'm such a sword gay.
You are.
You are. I love that though. I love it.
Yes.
But that's it for the episode.
Yep. So we're going to just jump right into discussion topics because we are excited. And the first thing we are going to talk about is when Shoto says, "I forgot about you."
Ooh. Big old line. We had a lot to say about it. So really honestly, like, I forgot about you. Like, this is what moving on should mean, right? Like, it's not about suppressing emotions or sweeping things under the rug. It's about like coming to terms with your trauma or what happened to you in such a way that it no longer controls you. But I mean, this can be scary. And I totally understand Shoto's hesitation and like him needing to think about that, because like sometimes our trauma becomes a defining trait, especially if you're a character in a shonen. So, we're reluctant to address it because then it leads to a crisis of identity. Like, who am I without this? And I don't know what things are like in Japan, but in the US, we've definitely equated struggle with morality. Like, I'm sure people have heard, like, I worked hard for what I got. I walked 5 miles to school in the snow, uphill both ways. I am superior to you and don't need to improve anything about myself or do any kind of self-reflection because I struggled.
Yeah, it's rough over here, y'all. And it is definitely nice to see this healthy way of like moving on and moving forward past your past traumas, even if though sometimes they do still continue, and how we're shown that it is a long process with Shoto is so great because he does continue to deal with both of his parents and everything that his parents did wrong and the consequences that are literally still playing out like throughout the property. And also there are other good ways to process trauma, and it's like the way that Shoto has shown it is like his way is good, but there are also other good ways. And I made the note to take it away Fern because Fern had a lot more to say and everything is correct.
Yeah, I don't actually know if I want to say this part anymore, so I'm just going to cut that out. But basically, I do want to say though that I do really like how Shoto starts out with his trauma being his defining trait and kind of leaning into that tendency that we see in real life. And then as his character grows, like he develops like his own personality traits that have nothing to do with what happened to him. So it really does echo that, like, you know, letting go of this thing as like a core aspect of who I am. And yeah, I don't know how to finish that.
Yeah, that was lovely.
Lovely. Yeah. So yeah, trauma is such a complicated thing. And so there are so many coping mechanisms for it. And it's so hard to come to terms with it. Yeah, I'm also really happy that there was a healthy way that Shoto could deal with it. He accepted something about himself and in turn can move forward, because trauma can make us stuck and letting go is scary. But honestly, it comes down to the person, how and when they're ready to let go and cope.
Yep.
Absolutely.
All right. So moving along, not to discount anything that we just said, because that was a big point that we made, but we're just going to keep it rolling, keep it informative and also hilarious, because we are now going to talk about Ida's match with Ibarra.
Yeah, I glossed over it in the timeline earlier, just because there wasn't time for it there. But basically, he uses his speed and the element of surprise to win like really, really quickly. Like he just dashes behind Ibarra and he pushes her out of bounds so quickly that she's too startled to react. And the match is over in like 8 seconds. And I'm like, what do you want to bet that he tried to wrap it up as quickly as possible because he was so embarrassed about his quote unquote fight with Hatsume and he wanted to prove himself?
Yes, that was exactly his motivations. And also like semi unrelated, I wanted to just talk about Mina and Tokoyami's fight, because Mina like didn't even try to dodge Dark Shadow. So I'm wondering if Dark Shadow, I don't think Dark Shadow has been referred to with a pronoun, so I'm going to say they.
I'm pretty sure he.
Okay. So I'm wondering if Dark Shadow, like, is he also going as fast as Ida? Like, are their speeds actually comparable, or was it like something else blocking Mina's win?
Yeah, I mean, I would assume so, because Dark Shadow has a mind of its own, so it can pretty much react to anything without having to rely on as much on Tokoyami. I mean, probably.
Yeah, I think based on what we see of Dark Shadow like later, that much like Ida, Dark Shadow can move like really fast. So your reaction time is extremely limited.
Yep. All right, cool. I'm glad I was not the only one who was like, wow, he's fast. All right. So our next point, the point that Fern has been just waiting for, drooling. The character introduction that we mentioned briefly before is in fact the introduction of Nana, aka Toshi's mentor.
Nana! Oh my God, my wife. She is finally coming into the narrative. And when we get a full reveal, y'all, I'm going to go fucking feral. I am so into her. She's so hot.
Yeah, you are. Like the whole time we were trying to get you into My Hero, we were trying to lure you in with Mirko. We should have just lured you in with Nana, because
you should have. Yeah, it would have worked.
Yeah. So basically, Nana is like this strong buff lady who's awesome, and we really only get like a little bit of her in this moment, and it was great. But also like moving like from Nana to Toshi to Izuku, like there's a moment at the end of that talk and it closes out on a rainbow and it's glorious. Like, yes, I know the rainbow as part of a resolution is an anime trope, but it's also very gay. So thank you for returning the rainbow, Horikoshi.
It's gay.
Yep, it's gay. But I'm just ready to sit back and watch the feralness. But then again, I've been a little slightly feral over here, but so I'm not anyone to judge.
Nah, we're not judging. We love the feral.
I have Nana. We all have our people.
Yes, we do. All right. So kind of like actually dovetailing off of Nana, there was a line earlier that is essentially, there is something that only you can draw out, talking about how Izuku can do things with One for All that only he can do.
Yes, and this reinforces my earlier point from some episode. I don't know where it was because, again, it all falls out of my head. But One for All is so extraordinary in Izuku's hands because he himself is already extraordinary, which is a very nice reversal of the superpowers make you special trope. And I don't know if trope is the right word for that, but I can't think of a better one right now. So, oh, well, like it's not what abilities you have, it's what you do with them.
Yeah, I think it is a trope or a motif. They're all kind of the same. But
something along those lines.
Exactly. This is not a vocabulary podcast. We just have a lot of feelings and aren't always able to be eloquent with those feelings. Anyway, I also love, like I am in love with whenever Horikoshi subverts tropes and makes them like 10 times better. And he does it like without dismissing the original trope. He's just like, I see that and I raise you this much better version. And it's just like, and like, yes, how your character and personality play into your superheroes and like your superhuman duties is so much more compelling than like, I could not think of a better example because I was just like, Superman is a photosynthesis strong man, therefore perfection. Like, I don't know. I'm not a DC person. Don't come for me. No, Izuku is special because he is Izuku and not the spoiler ninth holder. Like,
yes,
the fact that he's the ninth holder does not make him special. So I'm wondering, like, what would have actually happened if One for All did get passed to a new user from Izuku? Like, what would have passed down from Izuku to the next holder in that crystallization? Is it like his analysis skills? Is it the required therapizing in like all future fights? Is it superpowered tears? Like, it's completely irrelevant, but I also want to know.
Well, I think it's probably the same thing as All Might. Like, there's no super special power, but as Izuku holds One for All just keeps storing more and more and more power. So whoever he passes it on to gets all that stored power from however long he had it. But they would also get Izuku as a mentor, which honestly is invaluable. So
yes, thank you. Thank you for thinking of that, because I was not thinking when I did these notes. I was just I was just letting my brain ramble off like a bunny through the grass. Also, in this random irrelevant grass, I decided that the term crystallization of power is not an accurate metaphor. It should be a pearl of power, since like each user adds something on top of the original, like a pearl and all the layers of nacre around it. So like Horikoshi, not to be an editor, but there were other ways you could have phrased it. Anyway.
No, I think that works. I think that's a good metaphor.
Thank
you. It is a good metaphor. So all of this, as much as he loves playing, my eye.
Oh, are you okay?
Oh no.
Yeah, it's fine. Oh, good. My eye started tearing up. Hold on, give me like 2 seconds.
You're good.
Yeah, no worries.
Okay, I can see again.
For a second there, I was like, what happened to Toshi's eye? What did I do?
Nothing. Just me over here dying, but it's fine. So yeah, as much as he loves playing and destroying it into a gazillion pieces, Horikoshi is a motherfucking genius when it comes to throwing tropes into the blender and absolutely destroying them to make the story much more compelling.
Yes.
Absolutely.
Exactly. Yeah. How dare he be so talented? All right. So moving along, we've got a couple more smaller discussion bits before like the Easter eggs. So next, we're going to talk about how Tensei's exhaust pipes are in his elbows, where Tenya's are in his calves.
Yeah, this just made me want to speculate about where everyone else's are. And like, does someone have exhaust pipes for fingers? This haunts me.
I for one hope that they do, and I also hope there is an Ida somewhere with 2 exhaust pipes, 1 in each butt cheek. Like, I need it.
And then there's me. My mind went on a whole nother world.
Malia.
Okay, I gotta ask. Are you thinking the same thing I'm thinking? And are we
absolutely.
both thinking
No.
penis?
You both need to go to church. I will never.
I'm pretty sure if I walked into church, I would burn.
Good, because this mental image is burning my brain, so you need a little burning too. How dare both of you?
Exhaust pipe penis.
But also, like, I'm thinking about how one would use an exhaust pipe penis. So is this hypothetical Ida running backwards, or do they have to like aim it behind them?
It would be like Aoyama.
How dare you? How dare you bring my son into this?
You're welcome.
How dare all of you? Oh, that was hilarious. All right, we are going to move along before it gets worse. But yeah, we're just going to move along to how in this episode, particularly, Izuku and Ochako kind of look related.
Oh God. Okay. So like, I know this is an internet joke to troll Izu Ocha shippers because it's really easy, but they really look exactly alike in the scene where Tenya gets the call about Tensei and like both of them turn toward Tensei and are like, oh, like they look exactly alike. They look like siblings. Horikoshi, why would you do this?
Because Horikoshi is all for the gay ships. We know that. And he's also trolling the fans. Just kidding. I don't know if that's what he's doing. I can only hope that that is what he's doing. Also, like they both have like the same bandage on their cheeks. So cute.
It was adorable.
Cute. They are very cute, but Horikoshi, why?
Horikoshi, explain yourself. Okay. All right. So our last point before we go into the Easter egg section, which there is like actually content as opposed to just listing stuff that's gonna happen. So in the preview at the end of this episode, All Might says that Bakugo succumbs to feminine wiles in like the next episode. And like, I know that was like something to just keep the little teenagers watching. But also Toshi, sir, you poor dumb gay. Like he has no like gaydar. Like what is happening? I may be looking way too closely at this, but sir.
Okay. Now I've got a headcanon that Toshi is one of those bisexuals. You know, when you come out to your parents as bisexual and they're like, or you come out to your mom as bisexual and you're like, I'm attracted to women. She's like, honey, everyone's attracted to women. It's like, no, mom, you're bisexual. Like that's Toshi. Yeah,
that makes a lot of sense. Yeah, he is very clueless. Okay, I like this headcanon. All right. Okay, so moving along from the previous chaos, I think we're going to have more chaos. So
yeah. Also, hold on one second. I have to blow my nose because I was crying earlier.
The exhaust penis will do that.
Yeah,
don't bring it up again. I'm going to start laughing again. Okay, I'm good.
Oh, wait. What happens to the exhaust penis if the bearer of said exhaust penis gets like excited and aroused? Like, how does that play into the hero duties and or the sexy times? I have questions.
Like I got a question. So like the exhaust coming out of the exhaust pipe, is that an expression of arousal or is that like the equivalent of semen?
Well, we need answers. Or is it the equivalent of urine? Like there are so many questions.
Yeah. How do you pee?
There are so many questions you both have introduced, and you've just made this reality so much more cursed than it needed to be.
You're welcome.
Oh okay. Man.
All right. For real, let's go ahead and get into the manga differences.
Yes. Okay. Okay.
So in the chapters, all right. Last episode, I mentioned that there was a panel where Bakugo looked really concerned, and this panel was not animated, and instead he growled. So yep. I don't know what the mindset was behind that choice, but okay. In chapter 41, All Might actually calls his predecessor a he, which like how very dare. Rude, but like thank God they like updated it and like retconned it, I think is the correct term here, because Nana is the absolute best, and were she to have been a man with all the other men in the One for All line, like just thank God they updated it is all I'm saying.
Ooh, consider Nana with flex pronouns.
Yes, I also enjoy that. Please, somebody.
Yeah, that's a good one.
Yes,
that'd be fun. Mm-hmm.
I love it. All right. So moving past Nana, regrettably, they didn't actually show the Ida versus Ibara or Mina versus Tokoyami fights in the manga. So that was a very nice addition to the anime.
Oh, that also explains why they were so fucking short.
Yeah, they were just like, we got to show what actually happened. And they just had fun with it. So, all right. And back to fucking Endeavor for just a minute, because it was funny. Apparently, like, in the manga, he's sitting in one of the bleacher seats during Shoto's fight with Ida, and just the guy that's like sitting next to him is like literally just sitting next to an open flame, and it's like very uncomfortable and very hilarious.
Oh my God.
Oh, I hope that guy sitting next to him realized that Endeavor was an abusive piece of shit that day, because he was just muttering the whole time like a gross asshole.
Oh yeah. Also, that guy is not considerate about his flames and like the danger they pose to others. He does not care.
Because he's an asshole.
He's flame spreading. Some men man spread, Endeavor flame spreads.
He was probably doing both, honestly.
Yeah, honestly, he probably was. Yep.
Yeah.
All right. So then the last part, just for the manga differences, is they actually added the scene of like Tensei running and Tensei speaking and actually finding Stain. So that was a nice addition too. All right. So moving along to Easter eggs. Like I said before, I added this about how Tokoyami doing so well in the sports festival actually leads to things later in the manga. But basically what happens, spoiler, is that Tokoyami does so well that he is scouted by Hawks. And at the time he was scouted, he was like the number, I don't even know what number he was. Hawks is... Well, he's the number 2 at the Billboard thing, but I don't know what he was before that. Anyway, so Tokoyami doing so well in the sports festival basically leads to him teaming up with Hawks, and that partnership actually like plays out and dominoes forward into all the future arcs, and it's great. And I'm stupid for having not noticed it.
You are not stupid. Quit calling yourself that.
Well, I was a little bit, but also
you notice more than we do.
I was tired.
I am mentally spraying you with the spray bottle head hero.
Don't. Ew. Now that we've discussed the accursed exhaust pipe placement, now I'm just
oh God.
Everything else is so much more cursed. So no, thank you.
Oh Lord.
All right. So moving along, this chapter really was a like Vigilantes reunion. And this includes Stain, Stendhal, Tensei / Ingenia, and Kurogiri / Oboro. So spoilers for the Vigilante series and for the next few episodes. Stain doesn't actually kill Tensei, like he's alive. He just paralyzes him, I think, or something. Like he's got a bad injury. For those of you who still haven't read Vigilantes, both Stain and Tensei actually appear in the Vigilantes series. Stain is like in like the first few chapters, and at the time he's actually a vigilante who's going by the name of Stendhal. But like basically he was this vigilante before essentially getting his nose chopped off and choosing literal violence afterward. So that's nice. That's nice. And like, even though Tensei is actually a recurring character in Vigilantes, he and Stain don't actually meet or really face off until Hosu City in the main series, which I was disappointed by. I thought he would have met him before, but it's fine. Can't have everything. So like, I guess it is possible that Stain had Tensei on his maim not kill list, because he has lists.
Right.
Because they did have like shared run-ins with Koichi. So that's kind of nice to think about.
That is interesting.
And then also with Kurogiri and Vigilantes, like Kurogiri's backstory is also detailed in Vigilantes, but it's like several volumes after Stendhal. They don't actually cross over. So their meeting here in this episode is the first time they actually met, as far as we know.
Yes.
All right. So as for other Easter eggs, we've already talked about Nana and Toshi's quirklessness and the rainbow continuing. But also just keep in mind that both Izuku and Toshi's quirklessness, like they both actually come into play later. So it wasn't just in a big way. It wasn't just a lore dump. It actually does matter. I am not looking forward to the next episode for my poor son Bakugo. Like the screen grab they do at the end of the episode was the bad part. And I'm just like, oh no, I'm going to be unhappy.
Yeah, we're going to have a lot to say.
Again.
As always.
We always have a lot to say.
Yes. But it looks like somebody else besides me actually has an Easter egg to contribute this time.
Yes, and I put it here because I forgot to mention it in the timeline. But after the Kiribaku fight, Tetsu is disappointed that Kirishima lost, and he comments that Kirishima lacks, I can't remember the exact word, but it's like guts or like strength of mind or self-confidence, one of those. And this is foreshadowing for sweet baby Kiri's arc in a future season.
My baby, you're totally right. Oh,
right in the kokoro.
Oh, Kirishima, you poor thing. Well, that was quite the episode. Do we have any final comments? And no, we are not talking about the cursed exhaust pipe placement anymore.
You say as you bring it back up. We'll never let
you live it down.
Yeah, you're all terrible, and how dare you? But anything else we need to talk about or mention before we all go take a nap?
I think that's about it for me.
Yeah, I'm good.
All right, cool. So we are going to close this out before any other curse enters this reality. This has been My Hero Analysis. You'll hear us again soon. And in the meantime, go beyond plus ultra and thirst responsibly. Bye, y'all.